How curious it is, at long last, to write about the trials. Long have they been guarded, the truth kept veiled. At first it wasn't proper to speak of them when so much is lost, who can bear to trample over the little that remains? One afternoon, years afterwards, sadness overtook me, and as I stood in the cool shade beneath leafy bowers, I realized my opportunity to disclose the full truth had passed. Lives were tentatively healing, and to speak would have been disruptive. By that point, my name was so besmirched by lies, accusations, and assumptions, my only defense was to allow the remainder of my life to testify to my true character. During that period, I faced the fullness of myself and glimpsed the substance of my soul. What a strange alloy it comprised: fear intertwined with hope, cowardice lumped with bravery, innocence enmasked with sin. It is no wonder in my case God demanded a crucible. We often fail to recognize our greatest godsend simply because it comes bundled in suffering. Thus only now, as I prepare to chronicle those fateful months, have I reopened memories long stuffed into boxes, stored in dusty closets of forgotten chambers. Each box opened contains something precious, yet equally cruel. As I bring forth the last of these remembrances, the picture finally clears, and I am able to comprehend how stunning the events actually were. What strange nonsense I must seem to write, the babblings of an old woman, a moneyed dowager at that. Yet have I ever used pity as my cloak? Was I not born despised and unwanted? Only a strange twist took me from being unheeded to being one of the most influential voices of the century. Who could have predicted such an end? Who could have foreseen the vast power and wealth that my name would one day accrue? But I am off point. I begin at the end of a story that most think they understand, though in truth they know nothing about. The first morning I woke in Edward's arms, I stirred in my slumber, feeling a deep sensation of lament as if something had slipped through my fingers, though I could not place what. Shivering, I shifted position and pulled the blanket higher. The nap of homespun cloth scraped my skin. My eyes opened. No London house sheets were these. The very first sight that greeted me was a window framing the beginnings of dawn. Only the trunk of the nearest tree could be seen in the morning fog, its branches seemingly disappearing into the mist. A grey light, thin as gruel, seeped into the cramped chambers, recalling me to my surroundings. My breath frosted the air as I thrilled with gratitude. Of course, this was Edward's church, and today was Henry and Elizabeth's wedding. I shifted onto my back and viewed the century-old slatted wood ceiling that had been resurrected as an addition to the sanctuary. The stark architecture was so unlike my father's lavish houses that I couldn't help but give a silent offering of thanks. It was as if I'd been drawn out from stormy waters and placed on the solid planking of a ship. Here I would become myself again. Last night I scarcely dared to sleep, fearing that I'd wake and discover this all a dream. But now the acceptance that this was actually true prevented all chance of returning to slumber. I turned on my stomach and propped myself on my elbows to hungrily take in every detail of our home. To call that space a chamber was a decided compliment, yet I adored every inch of it. How much better I understood the nap of wool over the gloss of satin. A single table served also as a desk, evidenced by the books, Bible, inkwell, and parchment laid out in orderly stacks. There were only 2 chairs, one shoved beneath the desk, the other in the corner where it doubled as a valet, holding Edward's extra folded clothing. Next to it, a single fireplace with a rough-hewn wood mantel provided both the kitchen and heating source. I gave the cast-iron pot hanging from the crossbar a dubious look. Surely Edward wouldn't expect me to cook, I frowned, pulling the blanket over my chilled shoulder. In the past, I'd kept Sarah company while she dressed poultry, but I'd never heeded her work. And nearly 6 months with Pierre, my father's world-renowned chef, hadn't extended my skills beyond choosing the proper sauce and embellishment. That knowledge hardly constituted what Edward needed in a wife. Edward stirred, emptying the pocket of warmth trapped between us. His cold nose nuzzled through my thick hair. Sleep rusted his voice.